don't even know. Hey,
Tim Burton's doing
He's doing the Addams Family.
The Addams Family on Netflix is coming out, and that's Tim Burton. And they got anyway. Anyway, here we are.
I feel like you guys always catch us in the middle of some weird conversation.
Yeah, for sure. That's how this shit starts. Episode 22. We got Jim Vegas with us today.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this, man. Thanks for coming in. First, let's knock out the advertisement. Second week in a row, if you're looking for advertisement on the Aaron and Austin show, this is kind of what it looks like. Run your logo. We'll hit you. We'll get you as a guest and thing. You got cups, whatever. We'll let you in on that. But if, as of right now, PK Pest Management is here for your pest management services. So if you need anything, 316-305-7108. There'll be a graphic for that. Hit us up for all of your pest control needs, and we can take care of them for you.
Except for teenagers. You can't get rid of teenagers legally.
No, well, you can test them. If you spray them and they die, then you might not have a real teenager on your hands. But yeah, hit up PK Pest Management. We have a website, and we also have we have a Facebook page, and you can also direct me personally. And if you talk about the you talk about the podcast, I'll give you $20 off your first treatment. So, and we'll take care of everything you need. We're not we don't charge contracts. We pay as we go. We've been in this town for about 10 years. So.
Do you notice that when the weather gets colder, all the bugs come inside?
Well,
all the mice do. I know.
To pimp pest control for a minute, it's the long con. Like, a lot of people don't realize, if you're spraying reactionary, then
it's already too late.
Yeah, you need to maintenance it if you don't want to see anything. And if you use our company and you're a quarterly customer, you're under a guarantee. So if we spray in your house 4 times a year and you're having problems, we come out and fix it. So like if you dig up a contract, it's not, we don't put people under contract, but if you're willing to be a 4-year paying customer, you use us 4 times a year, I'll come out and take care of your shit for free. But if you're a 1-time-a-year customer and you need some work, I'm charging you for coming out.
And he'll talk your ear off at no extra charge.
And if you want half of the Aaron and Austin show at your house for 30 minutes and talking shit,
you can have both halves. Just plan it in advance.
Honestly, if you guys are willing to pay double, I will bring Aaron too, and he won't have to do anything. I'm sure he'd be along for that money.
I promise I won't do anything.
Yeah,
I will just.
I'll let you sit there, and just for the pure entertainment. If you're willing to have both of us come out, it's going to be an extra $60 though. This shit ain't cheap, and nobody's time's free.
Covers my gas.
Yeah, but anyway, check out the graphic of the local shows coming out, and if you have any idea for if you got a company or you have something you want to advertise with us, man, get with us. We have really cheap rates for that. We're not going to hardly charge you nothing to get on our podcast and pimp your shit. Yeah. That's what we're all about, right?
So check out the graphic. Go see some local shows
for sure.
So today's episode is episode 22.
Yeah, here we are.
These are racking right up.
Yeah, it gets
22 is pretty awesome.
Those are pretty quick.
But we have Jim Vegas in the house, and your band is the High Rollers.
Yep.
And you guys are getting ready to release a single?
We're getting ready to release a full-length.
Full album?
Yeah,
nice.
It's called Shakedown City. And, pretty excited about it. We got a cool record. It's like a lot of topics that I've never written about before. And a lot of kind of genres that we haven't really covered before either. So.
Oh, nice. So unpack that a little bit. A lot of subject matter, like current.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously with the pandemic in the last couple of years, I think everyone's had a lot of reflection time and different things going on. But as I was writing, it was interesting because a lot of these songs, were things that... just topics and things that I've never breached. I usually write not about myself specifically, but my point of view is there somewhere within the story of the song. Typically, with this, I found it was more writing about other things. I mean, there's a tribute to Tom Petty on this record that that I just found myself like thinking about things and about people and their impact on the world, and there's a song kind of dealing with George Floyd on the album. There's What else? What do we got? Oh, we got a tune about Jack Dorsey on the record that hopefully I won't get sued for. Any luck? But some interesting topics on the record. So yeah.
Tom Petty a big influence on you?
Yeah, you know, I mean, in a lot of ways, there's a few people who like really kind of pulled things together for me when I was young. You know, because like I kind of, you know, it's like I started kind of like any kid who's 10 or whatever. You know, I think the first concert I saw was Men at Work or something stupid
awesome.
like that. You know?
Yeah, dude,
something super awesome.
Yeah, like
super
well,
awesome.
like super awesome. But then there was a period of time that you were guilty about liking it, and now it's come back around and like everybody can like it now.
Yeah, I mean, thinking back to that age, it's pretty amazing because you know, it's like I remember that summer. It was like Run DMC. That, and then there was like some Van Halen record that came out either that summer or the next summer. So, I mean, when I think back on it, it's like the music was kind of all over the map that I was getting hit with young. But, you know, like the second concert I saw was Bob Dylan and Tom Petty. And before I had gotten to that point, I had already heard like a couple B.B. King records that just totally floored me. And I was like, I didn't understand what was going on there, but I was like, I want to do that. I don't know what it is.
Cool.
I don't even know what that is, but I want something to do with that, you know. But there was, I mean, really, it was like still a disconnect to me in a lot of ways because it's like, especially, and I see this with blues bands all the time now still. And I've probably actually had discussions with you about this at some point or another. But you know, it's awkward for me when I go to see a blues band and, you know, there's like 4 white guys our age right now singing about picking cotton on the plantation.
Yeah. It's not authentic.
And it just, the music can be great. Like they can even be putting their heart into it, but there's something there that I go, you know, I just kind of call BS on it. And, you know, it's the same thing as when you see like a 10 or a 12-year-old kid playing the blues. They can be great technically, and there's still something in you that kind of calls BS on it, and you just go, no. Tom Petty, to me, there was something he was doing where I could see, okay, you know, he's got the blues element going, but he's not playing blues songs.
No.
But you couldn't say those aren't blues songs either, because, you know, his band was firmly rooted in that basis, you know.
I think it's about roots.
Sure.
I think if you come at these like strong roots of a song, you know, big open chords, you know what I mean? Like just powerhouse powerhouse through it. Say what you mean with emotion that everybody can relate to.
Yeah, sure.
Something about that is blues.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
And I think blues, I think I can hear blues in a lot of different genres.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Just straight up. It comes with, like what you're saying, that authenticity, that kind of like pain a lot of times.
Yeah, it can be for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But selling that emotion, I think that's a big...
Yeah. But, I mean, there were a couple of people. I mean, Mose Allison was another one that when I heard him, I was like, okay, I got it, because... you know, I don't know how much you guys have ever listened to Mose, but
is Mose like Luther Allison? Bernard
No.
family?
I don't know.
Mose,
I'm in the dark. I don't know who that is at all.
Mose, you know, probably his most famous tune was a tune called "If Your Mind Is on Vacation."
Say the name again.
His name's Mose Allison, and you know, the lyrics on that one, it's "Your mind is on vacation, but your mouth is working overtime." But I mean, an incredible lyricist, really, like, you know, top-notch lyricist. But he was a piano player, a jazz, blues piano player. But when I heard him, you know, he was doing 12 bars, but he wasn't writing about any of the stuff that you usually heard in blues lyrics, you know. And I was like, okay, that's it. Like, you can do anything with that. And then later, of course, getting into Bob Dylan, I was like, okay, yeah, you know, you can write about anything in this form of music, you know, and you can take it anywhere you want to take it.
Where'd you grow up? Did you grow up?
I grew up in Colorado.
In Colorado?
Yeah, I grew up there. Went to college in Berkeley School of Music for like a couple of years, but I was pretty young, and Boston kind of freaked me out. I was a little.
Boston's weird.
Yeah, I was. You know,
especially from a kid from Colorado.
Yeah, it was a culture change, kind of culture shock, and And honestly, also, I wasn't of the caliber that I probably needed to be at the school yet.
What were you there doing? What were you
guitar?
Playing? Guitar.
Yeah, studying guitar and theory.
Berkeley's crazy hard, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
As far as like musicians, I have no idea, but I recognize it as it is a really prestigious music school. So
it's great. Honestly, like it's a great school. I would recommend it to anyone who's late 20s, early 30s that's in music, that's wanting to further themselves.
But know your schooling a little bit.
But like
be ready for it.
To be out of high school and to go there, it's a weird place because it's not a. There's no real campus per se. It's just sort of, so there's no social.
So it's not like a typical college experience.
Right.
You're not going to get that like fucking fraternity shit. Like, this
right.
is like a.
Yeah, you're not, and not only that, but you're going there with people that are, spending 15 hours a day in a practice room. So you're not going to make a lot of friends right off the bat when you get there because, you're there to take care of business. So, so I went there for 2 years. Then I came back and went to school in Fort Collins. I got involved in a band up there. It was a 15-piece funk band called Calamari Safari.
15-piece? That sounds fucking amazing, dude. Yeah, I love those big bands with a lot of horns and shit. Like, I love that shit.
Yeah. Everybody got paid $6 after the gig.
Yeah,
God. And you need like 8 buses to carry all the shit you got.
That's the brutal part about that, being in a band like that is, you get offered a gig and it's like, oh yeah, we'll give you $2,200 for the night. And you go, oh, that's great. And then you realize, wait, we got to rent the 16-person cargo van, then we got to drive, 6 hours to get up to Telluride.
Everybody needs hotel rooms,
and then everyone,
food.
Everyone gets $50 by the time you're done. So, but yeah, that being on stage with that many people is tremendous.
And it's cool. And I think that even without me knowing kind of exposes why that's so cool because it's so fucking hard to pull off. Yeah. Like, how hard is it to get like 4 dudes together to practice?
Well, you're doing it for the passion. You're doing it for
the so if you're getting like a big band together, I think that's why it's so unique.
Yeah.
Because even our project, it's hard. We got to go your schedule, everybody's schedule. It's not easy. It's not fucking easy. So when you get somebody that shows up with like a 16-piece band.
For this show, you have to balance 5 schedules.
Yeah. And a studio and a fucking... the Muse stuff that's going on. I mean, you have to. And it's on a real low scale podcast. We're not traveling. We're not traveling the fucking country.
Yeah,
but
I think that's what's. You're adding the chance of more drama.
Yeah.
So getting the right people together when you have 15 is tough.
And that's what's. I mean, maybe that's what's more impressive. I think about it. That's what brings such a cool feel to someone who has a big house band like that.
Right.
Yeah. The only good side with that is if you have a band with 15 members. 3 people cannot show up, and you can still do the gig. You're in a 3-piece, and 2 people don't show up. Yeah. Things are a little different. It's like, okay,
so we got subs on this big band.
So you got Jim Vegas and the High Rollers. How many people are in your band? You still with the horn section and everything?
Yeah. So currently we've got Philip Holmes is playing drums.
Nice.
He's doing the kit, and Aaron Diller's on bass.
Oh, nice. I like Aaron.
Luke Young is on saxophone.
Oh, Luke was the one who was going to come in today. Sorry, Luke.
Sorry, Luke.
Sorry, we couldn't make the schedule work.
I messed up his schedule too. He had a rehearsal that he canceled half of. So sorry, Luke. Apologize, but So it's on sax. We're kind of the core unit. Now we do have the CD release show coming up at Barleycorns on September 15th, which is Thursday night. And for that show, we've got some kind of special guests that are going to be there. We've got Dalton Williams is going to join us on trumpet. Nice. And Lynn Avance is going to join us on a couple tunes on guitar.
Lovely.
Some kind of fun guests for that. So should be a great night.
Yes.
Me and Lynn were in the Blue Dirt Daredevils, and we did an IBC International Blues Challenge down in Memphis one year, and had a lot of fun.
Well, elaborate on that, motherfucker. What is that?
Okay. So tell me about Memphis, because my experience with Memphis
a couple cool things
was that I love that town. Like, there's that street is like untouchable.
Beale Street?
Yeah.
No,
I could spend years down there.
I think that street been touched.
Here's a Memphis school.
Okay. All right, I think that street been touched.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
I find Beale Street incredibly commercial, but I will say, okay, now this is coming. I went down there at one point for 8 different years in a row with the IBC, with different blues societies sending me down. I went down one year and did like the Women in Blues showcase with Rochelle Koba, and I just went down there actually this year with Orphan John, and we played BB's. That was the last club on Beale Street that I hadn't played.
Right.
and finally got to wrap that off my bucket list.
Rare Aaroning opening up.
But yeah, okay. So my favorite place on Beale Street is a place called the Absinthe Room.
Okay.
And that's where the local industry
cool
guys.
Right.
It was like it was always a hidden. It was always like kind of.
It's like a speakeasy type
it was
shit.
this hidden door that.
Well, it's absinthe room. Do they sell
everybody.
absinthe in the joint?
They actually do.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
But
we can all get
you'd
weird
go
in the
there,
corner on some absinthe. Fuck
you'd
it.
go up there because there wasn't the IBC folks. There wasn't like everybody. The
you get away.
Guys.
You get away.
Yeah, it wasn't touristy Beale Street. There wasn't blues playing. It was just a jukebox in the corner playing some like fucking Nickelback or something stupid. You know what I mean? And but that was the best place. Bartender up there named Chico. And I was going up there for
shout out to Chico.
He is the man. He's awesome. But you'd go up there and just kind of chill. There's big comfy couches and pool tables, and it was like locals. It wasn't tourists, and that's what I wanted to see anyway.
Right. Yeah, well, you want to. Anytime you go, there's always the cool place in the town that turns into the cool place, and then it gets oversaturated because when you go to the cool place, the only people at the cool place now are people from out of town. None of the local fucking people are there. They've all moved over to the secondary cool place that you don't fucking know about.
Because they got the hipsters.
Yeah, they move up. So that's always the cool thing to do. Like, I want to do that in every town I go to, too, is
I look
find
at
the
it like
secondary
this,
cool
man.
place.
I look at it like this. I think they keep the tourists over here to not fuck with the rest of the town.
Well, sometimes,
You know what I mean?
but sometimes they don't mean it to happen like that. It happens in Kansas City. Like the whole red light district is like
that power and light.
Yeah, that power and light shit is all like they got tight ass restaurants at that motherfucker. But
I'm out. I don't want to go.
But now, but how they did it was like, okay, now power and light's real cool. The real cool place is Westport now.
Right.
Yeah. So what the fuck is buzzing? Oh, was your phone?
Good.
Oh, okay. Jesus, I thought it was a fucking helicopter about to land in here.
That's why I didn't put it on the. That's why I
Were you
didn't put it
hearing
on the
that,
desk.
John?
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, I hear everything.
Yeah. I need shock absorbers for that phone.
Well, I'll try to stop letting squeakers out if he's hearing everything.
Maybe.
But anyway, so you're from Colorado originally. Where in Colorado?
Yeah, just south of Denver a little ways.
So in the suburbs of Denver, around there. Oh, I fucking love that area. So you go to.
So I go to Boston, come back to Colorado, get in this band. That band sort of deteriorates over, everyone's in college, so everyone starts to leave. Out of that band, we pull like 3 guys. And we start this band called Booty Brown, and we tail it out to LA, and so we spend the next 6 years in LA playing out there. I was playing. It was at that point the great thing was like we were all on the same page in that band. Like that was the downside of it too. In some ways, is
you guys all lived
it was
together
pretty.
and shit?
It was pretty. Yeah, I mean we were tight, but it was it was very Morphine. Influenced the band Morphine, not the drug, obviously.
Right.
Well, I mean, you had a morphine hook?
But yeah, so we were out there playing. I actually got a really cool job out there at a music agency that represented composers for film. So I got to work there for about 5 years and got.
What'd you do?
I got to do all kinds of cool things. I got to go to. Bob Clearmountain's studio. That was actually because that was cool because I was working at Guitar Center in their pro audio department there, which sounds kind of lame for anyone who's like in a small town or something.
Yeah, like a Midwest Guitar Center, but this is different.
But in LA, that's a whole different ball game. I mean, I sold microphones to Korn.
You had to be a good musician.
It was a cool thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that going to Bob Clearmountain's studio was like a major thing. I mean, it was just mind blowing to me at that age. He had like a wine cellar that he has a microphone in the middle of this room, and that's it's his reverb room, and that's what he brings the reverb back in on the board. I mean, it was at that age I was like, what? How do you have a whole room in your house that's for reverb?
Just for reverb.
Well, explain. I'm sorry. Amazing. Explain that. What do you?
Okay. So we have a hallway here.
I was about to let you guys just go, but I was like, I don't know.
So when we started filming this, a couple episodes, we would have live performers out in the hallway because the reverb was so good. Reverb is basically that echo that you hear. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so we've talked about it here. This being a recording studio, what happens if we pipe the music out there and then just mic it. Like 10 feet away.
Right.
We would get that natural hall reverb.
Oh man, some of those recordings sound so good.
Oh yeah.
So they had a room that was set up perfect now?
If you listen to like those old chess records, the blues records, you'll hear that all the time where like they bring in the reverb for a minute or two and slide it back out, and like, I mean, especially those we were talking about B.B. King, those records, like you'll notice all of a sudden like his guitar's just buried in reverb and then it pulls back and is back in. I mean, that's all real room reverbs that they were pulling in.
So is that only can be created through the structure that you are playing in?
I mean, not now.
There's a lot of digital reverbs. You can
but like old school, like it had to be created through the sound of the room.
Yeah, there was something about like Led Zeppelin, that they've rented out this mansion,
Yeah, right.
And they put John Bonham's drums in this stairwell that went up like 3 stories, so that they.
So you're looking for like buildings and sounds that can recreate.
Back in the day, they did.
Wow,
back in the day, they did.
Cool. I mean, you still do that now if you can afford it. You still do that now too.
Because you can find some real authentic sound like what you guys found out there. Okay, that makes sense.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm starting to understand it.
That says hall reverb because we have a hall.
We have a hall, and
that makes sense. So you can recreate it. You can recreate it naturally, but those programs and shit were set up based on. Yeah. People finding those sounds in a structure originally.
They're trying to make their VST plugins.
Sorry for every person that knows this, but I know half of you don't know like that.
Right.
Yeah, but back in the day,
algorithms to make it sound that way.
Back in the day, that's what you would do is you would look for the space,
and that's why. Is that what you're looking for mainly in the space? So when you have a good room, does that mean it has a good reverb in it? Or
it just has a good sound. I mean,
I'm trying to understand that word reverb.
The reverb is kind of a different thing. Like the space itself. I mean, we're trying to do something crazy when we're playing music. Like anyone who's trying to capture it really is somewhat insane. Because you're dealing with a sound wave and you're trying to control it, and that alone is kind of insane. But I mean, you think about like the frequencies from bass drum or bass guitar, those things are going 15, 20 feet tall, the amplitude of that wave.
Yeah, so a bass instrument will throw really large waves.
Really long.
So if you have a room that's got a 20, 30 foot ceiling, that's magnificent for low end because those waves actually have time to go their full distance.
So they're not contained.
Yeah. They can still...
Okay. I'm getting there. My brain's finally getting there.
Right.
My horse is finally crossing the finish line.
But you can see this kind of like squashing it in makes them longer. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Vibrations
that makes
will come
sense.
by.
But now they've created algorithms and software programs. But it's still kind of cool, just like having a vintage record to find a vintage place that gives you that sound authentically. So that's fucking cool.
Now I think in the age of everybody has a laptop and an interface and they think they own a fucking studio. I think it's cool to go backwards.
Yeah.
I think now the idea is go backwards.
Well, that always is.
If I can get this outdated tape machine and really get a good sound on it,
right,
I might have a unique sounding record that.
Sure. I mean, every to me, it's like they're all tools. It's like a hammer and a saw and whatever. It's like that. A 4-track totally has its place. A reel-to-reel machine has its place. Pro Tools definitely has its place. But they're all tools to get to sort of a different sound. So, and I think that's one of the most challenging things as a musician in some ways in our current climate is, on the one hand, everyone's become so accustomed to the Pro Tools sort of perfected sound of, voice tuning and everything up to the click and, everything perfectly in tune. But honestly, that may not be the sound that you are going for.
May not be what you want.
I mean, I just have realized recently, after 20 years of people sticking a mic right up on the grill of my amp and 6 feet back, that was not the sound I wanted. Like I wanted like one mic 5 feet away from my amp, and I didn't want anything up front and close on it. Right. But that it depends on what you want things to sound like and
how you imagine it to be.
Yeah.
Like orange amps to me always had a different sound.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like orange amps had their own thing, and I always thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I can hear a Mesa Boogie do a wreck on a record, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Orange amps?
Orange is a brand of amp amplifier. English
A buddy of mine and I used to go into stores and hear like music playing.
Come on, man.
And we would like try and guess
These
what
kids.
guitars were being used over what amps.
At least it happened while John
all
was
that kind
talking.
of stuff. We had competitions about it.
Don't laugh at that. Don't laugh at that.
But no, but I can hear a Mesa dual rec on a record.
Good
and I
timing,
don't like
though.
it. I don't like it. You know what I mean? It sounds like Velveeta cheese. I'd rather have some real smoked Gouda. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, don't fucking shit on Velveeta.
Velveeta's like one molecule.
Dude, you
away from
mad?
plastic.
But are you mad at any cheese?
I mean, yeah, kind of Velveeta. Yeah.
I mean, those are just kind of things you learn as you go. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I mean, I started out playing Strat, Fender Strats, like kind of you do when you're a kid, and like at a certain point, I was like, why is it like, why can't I do what I want to do? And then I finally, I started thinking about it. I was like, nobody that I like their guitar playing a lot, who I'm a huge fan of, is playing one of those.
Yeah.
Everyone was playing 335s or like, different things.
I can kind of hear a Strat on a record.
And
too.
I mean, and it's and I love Strats. Don't get me wong. Hendrix used a Strat.
I hate to put the brakes in. What is so different about a Strat and a regular guitar?
A Strat has 3 single coil pickups.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay, I remember the pickups talking.
And to me,
it sounds spanky.
Yeah, to me.
But why are they Why are they considered one of the most famous guitars?
Okay, all right. Well,
to the people that don't know guitars, Stratocasters are the ones we know about.
Because Hendrix played one.
Because Hendrix
is that really
Eric
all
Clapton played one.
Is that all it is? Really?
Clapton. I would say Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
And the most iconic Strat sound to me is Niles Rodgers.
Right.
Like this real like.
Who? Rodgers? Who? Aaron Rodgers?
No, Niles Rodgers. Niles was the funk guy, man. Niles was.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
No, I mean the other.
Funk, you got to do it on a Strat. It's got that spanky sound you need.
Yeah.
So it does have its place.
Oh,
sure.
Absolutely.
Well, and the other thing about Strats is they're thin. So if you have a big sound that you're trying to squeeze a guitar into, it's the right tool.
Yeah. And this is why guitar players need about 13 to 14 different guitars.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. The more I learn, which I don't know shit, the more I learn that I didn't realize that there is such a difference in your guys' tools.
Totally.
Well,
that's the thing. You can have you can learn on a Fender Strat and love that feel, but not like the spankiness of the single coils.
Yeah.
So you get a big fat.
Does all this apply to basses as well?
You get a big but not as much. Fat Strat.
But then you tell me you roll with the same fucking bass and kill it no matter what.
No, but also like, okay, so when I'm out with Terry Quiet Band, I play a 5-string Ibanez ATK that I've customized the preamp on. And when I play with Orphan John the Evander,
that thing's got a mother bucker in it. Tell him about the mother bucker.
There's a mother bucker on it, and that's amazing.
I don't know. I didn't know the other shit you said. I don't know what that means.
When I play with Orphan John, I play with a semi-hollow body, Epiphone Jack Cassidy.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, and then with bass, you think about stand-up bass players, and you think about the whole rockabilly thing. Yep. I mean, that's got its own sound. I mean, Elvis had that and did that, and it was awesome. Did you guys see the Elvis movie, by the way?
Not yet. I haven't yet either. It's on.
I dug it. It was good. I wasn't sure. Like it took. I'm still deciding whether Tom Hanks was like magnificent in it or. I'm still like my verdict's out on that.
So he played Doc.
He played the Colonel.
The Colonel.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, for me, when you've seen, when they finally get to these adaptations of some of these big ones like Johnny Cash and all the ones they eventually do, I've seen so many documentaries.
Right.
Like I am a documentary junkie, so it's kind of weird to see these like fake, glamorized. Movie adaptations of the movies. So that is like, I'm normally not a movie critic. You guys know me. I'll go to a movie and I've got eyes wide open and love them. But when it's like something about somebody's life that's like supposed to be true, a lot of the times the fucking real documentary is more exciting than the bullshit adaptation of an actor they've got to do it.
Yeah.
And I've watched so many of those of Johnny and Elvis and like that it's hard to watch that movie. But I got it on my queue. I'm gonna watch it.
No,
who does Elvis in this one?
I don't remember.
There's some like
Austin Butler. That's who it was.
I don't fucking know. Must be a new guy, right?
Like, no, but he was good. It was pretty impressive.
The youngest guy in the room knew it.
Impressive.
It's always worth a watch too, because like I mean, Elvis was fucking cool.
Well, his middle name was Aaron, so I mean,
it just has a fucking crazy fucking story. How do you be like Elvis and and like Marilyn Monroe and people in that time charted in uncharted waters where there's nobody that was famous famous before them. So like what the fuck do you don't get to look back on, like Michael Jackson and a few other people at least had like a few famous people to look back. There was nobody before them. There was nobody of that level of fame.
Yeah.
How the fuck would you handle that level of fame?
Well, and that's why Elvis and the Beatles, these guys were so famous.
Yeah.
Because they created it. They blazed the path.
Kind of created fame. I mean, for the most part.
Exactly.
I mean, they created that sensationalism.
Imagine having everybody show up at the airport, everywhere you go, before like multimedia television and social media was even a thought. I mean, Michael Jordan and a few of these other people that got to be these big artists, at least TV and news was a big thing. You're talking back in the day when there was shit. Yeah. Barely, there was nothing to model your life after. So, like, I mean, dying on the toilet feels like an adaptation of something that you should happen. To the only guy, honestly, he is the first.
I wouldn't advise that. I think there's better ways to go out.
But as the very first, like, real, true national celebrity, maybe.
Well, I think it's funny that the first true national celebrity overdosed. You know what I mean? Like. Because that just set the tone for the whole thing.
Pressure.
Set the tone for the whole fucking
Well, it
deal,
lets you know how much pressure was there.
Yeah.
The 27 Club and all that.
No, he was 42. Elvis was 42.
The 27 Club came later, but...
That's right.
Oh, is that... What's the 27 Club? Is that like Hendrix and all them that died at...
So, yeah,
Morrison,
Janis Joplin, I think's in that one.
Joplin,
Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain. Was that?
Well, Kurt Cobain didn't kill him.
And Amy Winehouse, I think, was there,
I agree,
too.
Austin.
Amy Winehouse.
I agree.
Soaked in bleach, check out that documentary.
I agree.
Fucking Kurt Cobain was
I've been thinking that long before that.
Courtney Love killed that motherfucker.
Yeah, fuck that motherfucker.
She had some good songs after that. Maybe
Oh
she
my
stole them
goodness,
from...
Courtney.
She stole him from fucking...
Yeah, I mean, you do what you gotta do.
The whole thing was...
That was production.
So you're out, as we keep circling back around
Sure,
to what you're doing.
yeah.
So you're out in LA.
So yeah, I'm out in LA. Things are great. I'm working at a music agency, going with the band. And then our saxophone player in that band, like, he was kind of the first one that was like, I'm gonna leave town, you know.
So you've always had horns intricated in your band a little bit.
For a long time, yeah. Like pretty much since.
I fucking love that part.
Yeah, to me, like, saxophone was just kind of crucial for what I heard in my head. Always,
well, you mentioned Morphine being a huge influence.
Yeah.
And it's always been, ever since you started these bands, were they always your vision? Was it always like you were kind of the driving force to the...
Well, it wasn't like I started it. Certainly in the funk band, that was not the case for sure. That was everyone, way too many different ideas in that for it to be one person's thing. At a certain point, we did, it was like you're in a band, it's like, well, what are we going to play? So are we going to play a bunch of cover songs, or are we going to write our own stuff? So, and that's a question you got to answer for yourself when you're in a group.
Do I want to make money or not?
Right.
And to me, what's funny, all of us music fans out there, when you hear them say that, the funny thing is you think that making original music is the key to making money. It's really not. All of these bands make a lot of money doing covers.
I'm not going to say it's not.
That depends on where things go.
Whether you want to play the long con or the short con is what I feel like.
You can play covers and you can make the immediate money fast.
Right.
Or you can
invest.
Originals, invest in yourself, and hope to make the better money later on.
Right, because it's still a chance.
But the gamble's higher, man. I mean, your odds are worse.
It's less likely.
But that
if
being
you
said,
you make it filthy rich.
That being said, though, like, you get one or two
like
sync placements on a commercial, on whatever, you're going to make more money with that than you would in bar gigs for a long time.
It is. It's licensed.
Yeah, I mean, you get one or two of those things where they just land at the right time, and that's what that game is all about.
Yeah.
Is, you've got a music supervisor or whatever who's, they've got a movie called Monday, and they need a song about Monday.
And you got a Monday song.
You happen to write a song about Monday.
And you got a fucking Monday song.
And you happen to get it to him 2 weeks before he needs it, and he's like, that's it. That's the tune. And then you're in, and you got 20 grand in your pocket. And that's...
Dude.
And residuals on that, too. Like, every time it plays, you get royalties on that,
several songs.
Right. So, I mean, there's a whole train of thought, like, in songwriters where it's like, what do you write about? Well, first you write a song about every day of the week. Then you start picking every town
gold.
every town in America, You write a song about Los Angeles. You write a song about
Where you're
Chicago.
at, where you're going to be.
You write a song about every giant town.
Yeah.
I hope you're fucking listening to this.
Then, of course, Chuck Berry kind of taught us all this one. You write a song about every car you could possibly imagine.
Boom.
I mean, Chuck Berry kind of set it up where it's like you write about girls, cars, and school.
Let's go redheads,
Right.
brunettes, brown eyes.
Right.
I mean, this seems like it still applies today.
Yeah,
this model hasn't changed.
No, I mean there's a lot to that. I mean, to me the great thing about writing your own songs is, to me, that's really when you learn the craft, and that's really when you get the respect for the bands in a proper way. Almost, I mean, like you can listen to bands your whole life and think they're great, but until you have tried to write 10 songs, you aren't really going to understand how great those bands were.
Right.
Because once you realize everything that goes into a song, from lyrics to rhyme schemes to rhythmic patterns in lyrics, and how things fit together, and how certain rhymes can push a song into the chorus versus a different rhyme scheme can stop it from going, slow it down. And I'm not talking about tempo. I'm just talking about the dynamic or the emotional impact of the chorus. Right. And those are things you don't learn those when you're trying to learn the guitar part for a Rolling Stones tune, because you're not thinking about that. You're not thinking about the big aspects of the song from, okay, there's the emotional side, there's the lyric side, there's the rhyme side. Then you got the whole musician angle of, was that a great solo? Was that a great rhythm tone?
You're not thinking of why they did this, you're thinking of how they did it.
Right. Yeah, you're just basically trying to figure out how to recreate it, right? So, and that's a total talent too. I'm not dissing people who do that, because, that takes a lot of work too, to dial up the right sounds and figure out how to recreate tunes for cover tunes. That's work too.
But I found it to be kind of a regional gimmick.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if I'm in a cover band,
right.
Yes, I can 100% go around and make about $2,500 a night, corporate gigs, weddings,
right.
etc.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of confined to my area, because the next area over, they have their awesome cover
everybody's
band.
got that guy too.
And that's,
they have their awesome cover band.
And that's interesting too. I mean, with original music, it's still. I'm glad that there's still, there's still an element of that. It's not nearly what it was. I mean, there was a point where regional music was so important,
right.
where like the only place you were going to hear New Orleans music was down in New Orleans.
Right.
That's the only place you're going to hear.
Come hear it. Come down there.
But
can I fuck your time up a little bit, Aaron?
What?
Did you know that Creed started out as a Doors cover band?
I don't want to hear
That's
that
how
shit.
they got this. That's how they got discovered.
What does this mean?
I don't want to hear that shit. No.
They got discovered like as a Doors cover
Scott
band.
Stapp gave me staph infection, and I'm out.
Yeah, he was a
Dude,
bad
I love that.
wedding. He came to my wedding. He was a bad wedding
like
guest.
Stapless.
But anyway,
Sorry.
what were we talking about? John, I blame you now.
No, I just said that like
It's
Creed
alright.
started.
But if you got to tell them,
as a cover band.
regional
So,
music.
like,
yes.
cover band.
Well, there's I
So,
think
like-
there's like difference
like,
between the
I can
regional
tell
cover
you-
band or the regional like music like you guys are talking like that has the feel of the region.
Well, like I can tell you, for instance, in Colorado, there's always going to be 5 times as many Grateful Dead cover bands as anywhere else that I've ever
That
been,
ain't no
that I've
shit.
ever been in the
That
country.
ain't no shit.
Well,
Right.
So there are regions where like,
like
whether
Cervantes.
you're doing original or cover stuff, and honestly, Wichita is always going to have a huge bluegrass thing because of Winfield and because of what that's done.
What a cool
And
event that
it's
is.
also got a very huge, compared to a lot of other places that I've been, like heavy rock scene. You know?
Ain't that funny? Like,
Yeah.
like you would
I
think
mean,
that
different musics,
you
but
would
they're
think
both
that the
huge
country
here.
music out of here would have been great.
And what's weird is a lot of the people that support the bluegrass and the heavy rock scene are the same motherfuckers.
Can I give a quick shout out right now? Like,
Yeah, why not? It's your own
so,
show. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
but this derails the conversation.
Yeah,
just
it
a
doesn't
little
matter.
bit.
It doesn't
So,
matter. This is kind of our thing.
when we put like competition music,
Right.
it's a weird thing for me. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's apples and oranges, okay?
Sure.
But Jack Daniels did a huge competition the other day.
I think I saw
and
that.
fucking Mountain Deer Revival,
Yeah.
our local guys,
Yeah, good
won
for them.
the whole thing.
Holy shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
They won
Unwrap that a little bit.
$10,000.
Oh, so there was
That's
a
awesome.
they somebody from here wants
Jack Daniels did a
Who the
battle
fuck
of
is
the
that?
bands.
The
Jack Daniels, they make whiskey.
no, Jack Daniels isn't the band.
No, Jack Daniels, they make whiskey. They
Barely.
Yeah. Well, it's tolerable in short shots, you know. But anyway,
I seen you ordered a lot. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Anyway, Mountain Deer Revival won that whole thing.
Yeah, that's
okay.
awesome.
That's the band.
Mountain Deer Revival is our local guys.
Yeah.
I know them.
The Coffee
I don't know
Brothers.
them at all.
Oh my God, they're amazing.
Well,
And
let's give them a
now
shout
we
out.
have
Sorry,
to
I
have them
don't
on
know.
the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can tell me about how stupid I am for not knowing who you were. I'm sorry, but I'm glad you want to
Bring eggs.
bring some Jack Daniels. We'll drink it barely. I mean, that's tough.
Well, no, now they're sponsored. We can show the label.
Right?
So,
Well, anyway, let's get back to fucking what Jim was talking about. What the
Hey,
fuck?
where did you record at? Where is
This
recorded?
record we did down in Wellington with Carter Green.
Nice.
I've done about
So yeah,
almost 5 records down with Carter, and I love working with Carter. We have he seems to understand what I'm doing, and he. The thing that I like about Carter is he pushes back on me. I mean, I'll tell him what I want, and he'll be like, "Nah, you don't want that," and I'll be like, "Yeah, no, I do," and he'll be like, "No, you don't." You
so find a middle ground.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I know without a doubt I love using all kinds of effects more than he normally would, and I probably push him to use different things than he would do if he was doing it his way. But he pulls me back from making a mistake and
well,
going
the thing is, he
overboard
probably would say
other
the same
way.
thing about you, that you're challenging the way, making him better too.
Right.
It's nice when there's a give and take a little bit. Like that's what we found. Like you need a little bit of like, hey, this is what I want to do, and this is what we want to do. Let's find some middle ground.
And Carter's been doing some really cool stuff. He's been doing some shows, some different spec work.
Yeah, he just did some music for a documentary that got a Grammy, I think.
Yeah,
so
it's like, I mean,
let's get him on.
But Carter.
Yeah, Carter Green Jeans Studios.
Yeah, Carter's.
Would he be into coming on? You think?
Oh yeah.
If he has the time. I mean, that's the thing. Honestly, that's the tough part with Carter is he's booked about 3.5 months out usually. So he's busy. He's a busy guy. But
the load in up those stairs suck a little bit.
All you guys, all you hustlers are. You guys are busy. All of you guys are.
Yeah, well, you try. I mean, that's the it's the hard thing because you're either too busy or else you're waiting, and you don't want to be waiting because
hurry up and wait.
Yeah, and it gets challenging as a band leader no matter what you're doing. But I think when you're writing your own material and writing original material, it's a little bit harder almost in that way because there are certain periods where you get into sort of songwriting cycles where for whatever reason that month songs are coming to you, and it's like it's hard because you gotta get those when they're there because they won't be there 2 weeks from now if you don't do them then.
You're gonna lose them.
The hard part, of course, is you're trying to keep this band operating too. So it's like you're kind of trying to put everything on hold to get that time, and then and same thing with recording records. It takes away from live gigs and live time, and then you're planning how you're going to try to release records, and which is sort of its own unique challenge. At this climate.
So what have you found? I mean, every time I release a record, it seems like the industry shifted just enough. I have to relearn how to release a record.
That's
that's a fucking 2-month process. It feels like every time.
Well, it does. It really is.
Yeah,
it really is.
tough,
Like, look,
dude.
I can get my record done through Oasis or something, okay, and they will sell me a digital distribution package. Now, what they don't tell you is that iTunes is going to release this date. Spotify will release this date, Rhapsody this date, Apple Music this date, and you don't actually have a release date.
Right.
It's scattered over the next 6 weeks, and you can't nail anything down.
Yeah, no,
that kills you. That kills you.
It's a horribly
date and set that for all of them.
Yes, that's how it has to be, but they don't do that.
Yeah, to me it's a horribly confusing time as an artist as far as the figuring out what to do with your product.
How to and where to release it.
Yeah.
Like, do you want clips of it? Do I make reels of it? Do I make this of it? Do I want to? Do you want the whole album? Do you want one song? What the fuck do I do?
And you can make those decisions based on the data in front of you.
It changes.
And
next
you'll
week.
be wrong by the time you do
Well,
it.
there is
Yeah.
no algorithm
Right.
for viral, and they've always said it. There is no real, like, this is what you got to do to make it work.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, and there's a lot of options at this point. You've got Patreon, obviously. I know some artists were like, they don't even try to sell anything anymore. They just try to get everyone to give them money through Patreon, or they, try to give them so that every month they know they got $200-300 coming in through Patreon, and that's what they do.
Patreon?
Whatever. It's basically crowdfunding, and then you've got Bandcamp. A lot of people love Bandcamp. They put their stuff up there, sell stuff on Bandcamp.
Like, what do you sell? Like your merchant shit, or like
your CD? And a lot of times it's sort of you don't necessarily, you can list things where you don't have a price, so it's like you tell me what you want to pay for my album, and then you can have it. So some people, assuming they're big fans, might give you $200 for your record, where someone else may give you $1, and they both get the record. Which is kind of a weird concept.
Like 200 guys.
Yeah, exactly, right. But it's
if you reach people on a personal level, you do get those fans.
Well, and that's kind of the deal behind Patreon. Okay, Patreon.
Yeah, I never even heard of that shit.
Patreon is a thing to where they go, hey, I consistently like what you do, and I'm going to give you a monthly thing that just
stipend or whatever
automatically comes out of my account every month for you.
Sure.
$5 a month I give you. You know, and what we're able to do is be like, okay, look, you've hit a certain tier. I'm going to give you some special content as a Patreon member.
Oh, I get you, like a little
perks. Yeah. You give me $20, here you go. This is that, At like $50 a month, you get a birthday greeting every year. I don't know, whatever it is, whatever you get. Here's me jamming in my studio for a little bit, and here's a little thing,
Yeah.
Here's a song that made me think of you.
I wish I knew this. I feel bad if this was your book. I apologize. Somebody wrote a book a few years back about this, where essentially their philosophy was, you as an artist, no matter what your field is, you really only need 100 true fans. That if 100 people are really willing to support everything you do, that is enough to sustain a career. That was the theory.
Well, if that theory's fucking good, I love that theory.
Right.
Now we got to make all those 100 fans give us $100 a month, and we're
maybe just $1 though. Start with 50.
It's $50 a month.
But yeah, I mean, it is a strange time where, like,
quick break. Are we okay as production wise, guys? Yeah, we're good. Is there anything we need to do? You guys are okay? We're still recording here and everything's okay? Okay, perfect. I gotta address the elephant in the room, guys. I can't let it just go on.
Yeah, we started running around a little bit, changing some things.
Yeah,
we have to change the battery.
Just make sure everything's okay.
Yeah,
that's fine. Hey, this is not a. We ain't fucking shooting goddamn Wheaties commercials.
We don't have a fourth wall.
Yeah, we don't give a fuck, dude.
You're here with us.
Yeah, you are.
You're
going through this with us.
You ever want to be a fly in the
wall? And honestly, why keep
having
having a conversation that we're not getting? You know what I'm saying? Like, so we might as well make sure.
Hey, worst case scenario, we still got the guest. That's fine.
Yeah, I knew that's why I knew that. So I was trying to make sure that was going on.
So I do want to give you a moment right now. Tell the people how to get a hold of you, how to find you.
This is time to hold up all your cool shit.
Pimp your.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I fucking love the flyer.
Yeah, the flyer.
The flyer is dope as shit.
Yeah, I'll start with the flyer, which is also the CD cover.
I mean,
same thing.
I would 100% roll that.
This was a cool thing for me. There's a graphic artist. He's a storyboard illustrator friend that I went to college with. He's been working out there with films for a long time, and just as I was thinking about this record, and I had this idea in my head kind of as to what I wanted. And so I contacted him. I said, listen, I know you're like super busy, because he always is. And I said, and I know I can't afford you. And I hate doing that to my friends more than anything, because that's like, everyone always does that to you as an artist. It's like, I can't afford you, but But he said, yeah, I'll draw you something. He said,
a good friend.
He said, I'm not going to colorize it for you, but I'll do the sketch, and then you use the guy that usually does the colorization for me. And I was like, yeah, so let's do it. So Trevor Hoyer did the illustration,
and it's awesome.
And then
let's hit it one more time. Show it one more time.
And then
it's fucking beautiful.
Quite cool.
Beautiful fucking artwork.
Yeah, and he nailed it.
And Shakedown City is the album.
Shakedown City is the album.
Jim Vegas and the High Rollers.
Yeah.
And this comes out that day as well?
It actually will come out on the 16th, so the day after.
My birthday.
Ooh.
So yeah, September 16th, the record will be out on
29 years
Spotify and Amazon and iTunes and all those usual places.
Awesome.
And we have the show that night from 8 to 10 at Barleycorns.
$5.
$5.
Yeah, $5. Come to that show. What else you got?
So anyways, I got to keep going with this. So Rob Work was the one who did the colorization. And then big shout out to Michael Carmody at Wichita Vortex.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, because he's the one who actually did the CD layout.
Yeah, show that too. Show the whole.
Which is cool. Yeah, just kind of actually there.
Yeah.
We've got,
and you got JimVegasMusic.com.
JimVegasMusic.com is the website.
And how many songs on this new album come out?
This has got 12 tunes.
Nice, 12 original tunes. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I always when I found out that cover musicians made so much earlier money, I was like, and that made me love the art of people making their own music even more. But I always was like, even before I knew shit, and I never will know anything about the music industry, I'm just some dumb. But I was always impressed by people that would come into bars and play their own shit. And I always was like, just play your own shit. And I always would encourage people to do that.
Yeah.
So like, that's fucking awesome. So you're now how many albums deep?
This is our 7th record. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the first 2 records really. The first record was really just me and Tommy Crab. I don't know if you guys remember Tommy, but Tommy, still miss you, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tommy did the drums on the first 2 records with me. On the second record, I was also joined by Jeffrey Dybel on sax. And Jeff is amazing too.
I love that you always put horns in, man.
Yeah, that guy's a scary player.
I've been jamming his music all week, guys, and if you like a little horns in your music, it's really fun.
It's the Morphine influence.
Yeah, dude, I love it, dude. Dude, I fucking love that.
Morphine's one of my favorite bands I've ever been.
You know, it's that, and there was a guy named Eddie Cleanhead Vincent. And
Eddie Cleanhead.
Yeah, Eddie Cleanhead Vincent.
Wow, that's a name.
And there's one record in particular by him. It's a record called Kidney Stew is Fine. And that one's got him and T-Bone Walker on it. And
there you go.
Kidney Stew is Fine?
Kidney Stew is Fine, yeah.
By the way, don't eat that shit.
Yeah, and but he was a blues saxophone player. And I listened to that record for, I don't know, like easily over a year trying to learn everything I could off that record. But that was another one where I was like, no, for what I want to do, there's got to be a sax. It's got to be there. So, and Luke Young's been with me for.
Show off all your albums. Show them all off if you want to, man.
Okay, so we got the first record that I did. This was like
Strange World,
2013. I'm not going to say this is the best record. It's the recording quality.
You guys all hate your own art.
The recording quality wasn't great.
Preempt to all musicians, they hate their own art. This is painful as hell for them.
No, we start somewhere and we evolve.
Exactly. And looking back on shit does suck.
The second record was a record called The Bullfight Is In Your Head.
Dude, you have beautiful artwork on all your records. I like all the covers for all your records that you've done.
Then we did this record called Rock and Roll Ain't Cheap.
That's what I've been listening to a little bit this week.
And that's a true statement to this day.
Yeah, it is.
We're talking about records. I don't think I've ever gotten money back from a record. Close, maybe on a couple, but
50.
By the you got the cost of making the record, you got the cost of trying to promote the record, you got the cost of hiring musicians for the record.
And if you try to tour it at all, you're upside down.
Yeah. So
how much of that money do you have to pay for out front? Like, how does that work?
No, you pay all of it up front.
Except for touring. If you're on a label or something, that's different, obviously. But
you do. You've done most of your shit on your own.
All the stuff's into
well, that's you're doing it the right way because you get to own all your art, man.
Yeah. This was kind of the first record where I really thought we were kind of onto something. This was a record called Soul Shattered Sister. And that was the first record where we started getting reviews from real favorable reviews.
To get a little traction.
Yeah, which we were talking about how you promote a record now and stuff. That's another thing is that you think about quotes from like this artist is great or whatever they're gonna say about you.
Costs you money.
Well, it doesn't cost you money necessarily, but by the time you get those quotes, they're not useful for the record you got them for.
That's what I'm saying.
So they're useful for the next record. Okay, so you get done with the CD, you send it out everywhere, you get some favorable reviews, which is great. that doesn't do you any good until you put out the next record.
Right.
Then you can use those quotes. So that's the kind of thing, is like with every record you get a little traction. But anyway, so that record was kind of the first one. Then there's 2 records that are just available digital, because I started to get to a point where I was like,
Is CDs
Honestly,
gone?
yeah, it was like, is there a point still with CDs? But there is. But there is.
Are you sure?
Yeah, there is.
Tell me, are you really okay? As 2 musicians, I am the audience. To me, I have not bought a CD in fucking 10 years.
But what I'm going to tell you is
So
that
how
you
is
don't
there a
listen to
point?
blues.
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to say.
I've been listening to his music all week, and I've listened to it online.
But what I'm going to say is that the older crowd still wants a tangible CD in their hand.
And there's still
another 5 years.
And there's still
If that. But I'm saying that the crowd is there that still wants that.
I'm still part of the crowd that does want those. I still have 2 tubs of fucking CDs, but I don't. My fucking car that I drive now doesn't even have a fucking CD player.
right.
So like,
something to collect though.
Yeah.
I do. You are right, John. People do want something for their dollar. They want here's 10, here's a
It's a
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
In my hand.
But when you're talking to somebody that's younger than 25, they don't want that. They don't give a fuck.
They don't care because they never knew it. But the older crowd, they know what that is, and they want to go through all the lineups.
But how much money are you taking out of your pocket to make these things?
They're not
A lot.
cheap.
It's
They're not
considerable.
cheap.
And I'm not gonna lie, I love that you guys go into all the trouble, and because they are beautiful. You get a little bit of a tune of like what the artist is like.
I'm gonna guess that this cost you about $3.20 a piece to make.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that being. And
that is
Yes, you buying 1,000 of them at least.
And then studio fees, because your studio
On top
time
of
is
creating
a
it.
separate thing.
Yeah.
So that's what people see sometimes, is they think, well, it only costs $3 to make. Why is it $10?
Well, you're $5
because you spend another $7 grand
And
in the studio.
I spent a lifetime learning how to play fucking music. Right. I feel like,
Cost that much because it took me.
I mean, to be fucking honest, I mean, buy a fucking CD for $10 and shut the fuck up.
And tip the guy $5.
Yeah,
$15. That's what it was.
Why you need the change?
$15.
You're gonna spend it on a fucking piece of shit shot. You're gonna dump in the toilet tomorrow anyway.
But yeah, the other thing still, believe it or not, with radio and print media, this still does something to them, as opposed to you sending them an electronic press kit.
Legitimizes you a little bit.
It does. I mean, I would still recommend, in addition, giving them
Being on every
MP3s and digital formats, because you want to make it easy for them.
I see it like this. I see send your EPK,
Yeah.
and if they respond, send them the pack.
Right.
Send them the right pack.
EPK is
Electronic press kit. That's what we're talking about. It's all this same stuff. You get the graphic, and you get the bio, you get some pictures, you get a thing.
Live videos.
Yeah, you get all that. But if they respond to that, send them something they can put in their hand.
and you honestly should do, I think, everything that Jim's doing. Look, so Jim's got all the hard stuff too, and he's got a flash drive for us to play at the end of his shit too. So like, you got to start covering all those medias. Like,
Nobody's going to do it for you. If you don't do it for yourself.
I mean, it's the same thing DJ Carbon was just talking about. Like, you can't,
right.
you ain't gonna, I mean, you gotta go out there and do this shit yourself, unfortunately.
Right.
Be a force in your own scene. Be seen. Be present.
Well, there was I just read Art Blakey, the drummer, read a great quote from him like this week, and I won't remember it word for word, but essentially he was like, listen, we're not here that long, and you're no big deal. So do the best that you can possibly do while you're here.
Yeah, make the biggest splash.
And so that's what you do. You go out and you do your best. You do, and every time you learn. I think sometimes people set these like goals that are like lifelong or something, where they're like, I got to do this. Don't do that. Like, if you want to record a song, go record a song. Let that be your goal. Like, get the song as good as you want. If your goal is to write a song, or if your goal is to, this month I want to write 30 songs, write 30 songs.
Yeah.
But you got to set those small goals that you can achieve, and then you think, okay, now what can I do? Because I did that. So now what can I do next? And I think that's the only way you can keep moving forward is, slowly and changing them all the time, like, so you set a 5-year goal for yourself, fine. But also set a month goal or a week goal.
Or today.
Yeah, we're today.
Wow.
Yeah,
Today.
today I'm going to get out of bed and be nice to everyone I meet. And I'm not going to be a jerk. I'm not going to flip anyone off when I'm driving my car,
I
right?
love that fucking
Hey,
I love that fucking mindset.
But,
Let's just not be dicks.
All right.
yeah, there you go.
That's a great note to wrap up the show on. I guess.
Yeah, let's first and foremost, where can we get everything Jim Vegas and the High Rollers? Where is all your social media?
Yeah, Jim Vegas Music on Facebook. It's Jim Vegas Music. Twitter, same thing. Instagram. It's all at Jim Vegas.
And
Jim Vegas.
I found at least 3 albums on Apple Music, and they're all over Spotify too, I'm sure as well. So get out there and check out his stuff. We got the show coming up. Let's hit it one more time.
Yeah,
Show us one more. I just like the artwork. I can't wait to see it one more
it's
time.
good.
It's fucking beautiful. So we're getting that one more time to see you at Barleycorns on September 15th. And the album comes out the following day, which is Aaron's birthday, which is all together.
I'll be the big 3-0.
And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, Jim's got
pretty good.
Jim's got an amazing hairpiece and haircut going for the
That's right.
for a frontman.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks goddamn amazing. It looks goddamn amazing.
And the moral for today's podcast is don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. And cheers, everybody.
Much love.
Love you. Let's roll it.
Roll that beautiful. Hey, thanks for doing this, Jim. We love you, brother.
Is it a podcast? Is it a show? Aaron and Oscar, they don't even know. Scratching at the surface of Shakedown City, there are snow white sheep for the shearing. Inspect it closer, they're wolves with neckties, drinking cocktails, wearing fur coats. Constant blackmail, things hush with money. We can't stay here, someone's coming. You will shut them